Ernesto has a comment. Go ahead, Ernesto. Do you have a question?
Yeah, Josh. Oh, yeah.
Comment.
JJ brought up a great point that a lot of times us, the self-employed, small business owners, we think we don't have enough money to start investing, and particularly the last year, we've really been worried about paying our subcontractors and paying people, and the last person we often think about investing in is our futures.
Yeah, no, you got to start somewhere. Don't despise the day of small beginnings. Do you like that, JJ?
I love that because you know what? You and I started the same way. You and I have traded stories about how we traveled around wearing the same pants in a beater car. And when I started, I had none clients, and my entire office fit in one briefcase. I'll try and grab it so I can show you next. But, yeah, you got to start somewhere, and all the greats started somewhere.
Yeah, I remember I used to drive my car and park down the road so my clients couldn't see my car, and I walked.
I know. I hear you.
Now, but then when I got a nice car, I was embarrassed too, because then you realize that people with money really don't care about that. Once you have it, you realize that things that you care about. I'm very proud of my Honda Civic that I rode for 350,000 miles. It was a great car, and I built my whole career and my savings, by the way. By the time I was 28, with negative 60 grand when I started, I used Visa, MasterCard, and Discover to start my company because no one else would loan to me. Then I paid all that off.
I used the Phillips 66 card once for about 2 months to buy groceries. I drove around in a truck that had no air conditioning, so I would drive around in a T-shirt. Same thing. I'd park it far enough away, get out of the car, peel my sweaty T-shirt off here in Oklahoma and be hot, and put on my dress shirt. Anyways, I carry 2 dress shirts all the time. Yep, back in the day. That was for a couple of years of my practice down before the turn of the century.
I had a Hyundai Excel that was given to me by my brother. That was my very first car, or maybe it was my second. I had to use a wire hanger to tie the muffler to the top of the car so that it wasn't scraping. But you know what? With that Hyundai Excel, I love that car because as other kids, when they were seniors in high school, they tried to get a Ford Mustang or some nicer car. And, you learned a lot of things. You learned a lot of valuable lessons. For example, you don't want to have a spouse that is attracted to nice cars. Because there will always be somebody with a nicer car. And I married well. My wife she doesn't need the finer things in life. So that's how we were able to save. And then I remember this is a funny story too. When we were starting out, I had this TV. And the TV was from like 1978. You know those big box TVs? It was a big screen to me. I thought I was moving up in the world. And, it had like wooden casing around it. And people said, why don't you buy a TV? I said, no, because I want to save up my first goal, I think, was to save 27 grand in cash by the time I think I was 23 or 20. That was my first goal. And then it was 100 grand in cash. Then it was $1 million. Then it was $1 million cash. And so you're only able to do that stuff if you're ascetic and you're cheap a little bit. So let's talk about the EIDL. People still don't know what that is, and can they still get it?
So that is the economic injury disaster loan. There's one round of it, and what I mean by that is that you get one crack at it. But the SBA has made it easy. You go to SBA.gov. There'll be a yellow strip at the top. You click on that, and you can apply. It really is meant to be not based on credit. In essence, it can be that you have low credit. It is there for businesses that are suffering, in essence, related to COVID-19. Now, here's the big hot news is the EIDL grant that goes a long way. with it. Here's the biggest thing I want everybody to know. Do not go and apply for an EIDL just for the grant, because right now the SBA has a wonderful pamphlet, if you will, that's 42 pages long that breaks down the details. And right now, if you go and apply for the EIDL, it still does not give you the opportunity to get the EIDL grant. What is the EIDL grant, otherwise known as the advance? Well, when it had money, you got $1,000 per employee up to $10,000, which was a grant. You didn't have to pay it back while you were waiting to get approved for your economic injury disaster loan, which can be up to $150,000 direct with the SBA. So if you applied and didn't get the full amount or didn't get any of it, the SBA has made it clear they will be contacting you. They'll email you. Now, it will absolutely be from an email that says at SBA.gov. It'll be an email that comes directly from that. They also have a targeted grant that they're giving out separately. So with that, we're waiting on the SBA. If you have not gotten the EIDL, it is a 30-year loan, 3.75%. 2.75% for the nonprofit. Here's what I've been telling my clients that are in economic need or economic uncertainty is you can get the loan and pay it back at any time. There's no prepayment penalty. So you can get it, secure it if you're concerned about your credit otherwise, and then pay it back. For those, here's my test, Josh. For those that then have a big follow-up, well, I don't know if I should borrow money because of the interest, then you don't need the money. You don't need it, because those that have their house on fire, Glenda and Rob that are on, Christy, know this. If your house is on fire, you're not going to sit around and wonder by renting a hose or getting a hose for a short period of time if somebody's going to charge you $1 a day to have a hose. You're not going to sit around and go, well, I don't know if I want to pay $1 a day. You would be getting it. So that is a litmus test, in my opinion.
And cash is the oxygen of a business. So you need cash to survive. You also, people have a woe is me attitude, and not to be kind of Tony Robbins on you, but folks, go out there and be positive. Work with your clients. Call your clients if you're in small business and you're struggling. Big government can't and won't save you. These are sort of drops in the bucket if you're a struggling business owner, but there's a drop. It's a drop of cool water on the tongue. So we'll take our final break of the hour. Head over to retirementrealitycheck.com, buy my book, and call our office 888-988-JOSH for the review, and subscribe to JJ the CPA on YouTube, and also Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. We'll be back after these messages.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jelinski Advisory Group.
Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and Top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Josh Jelinski or Wealth Quarterback LLC. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Wealth Quarterback website at www.jelinski.org. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions, the information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, Josh Jelinski and Wealth Quarterback do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature, is provided for informational purposes only, and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Advisory services offered through Wealth Quarterback LLC.